they're going to be able to still
Promote
tell
more.
people, she
me?
did my hair and it lasted a year because, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's a fact. So have you experienced any like setbacks?
Yeah.
Right. So like tell us the journey. Like how did you get here? Like really, really how did it start? Because I know, all right, you was doing hair as a kid.
Yeah.
High school, you doing it for free.
Yeah.
Then you start getting paid for it. How did you become Chastity Autumn? Chastity Autumn with the sweets. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the story? Not like for real.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying? There's another young woman
Yeah.
who looks up to you or inspires,
Yeah.
like you're inspiring them, or just like similar predicament, and
So
your testimony can really help them.
Yeah. I feel like literally this ties back into what I was saying too. I got what I prayed for and it wasn't fulfilling. I got to do the celebrities. I would say like even that I worked super hard and it wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't everything that I dreamt of. It wasn't more money in that field. It wasn't glorious. It wasn't everything that you see on social media. And I wanted to be happy within myself. Like I wanted to feel good. Like, so I would say even with that, it was just like me just not being happy. Everybody else being happy for me and applauding me and me still not being happy. Like me not feeling like this was it. Like I didn't even like it. I didn't like it. I felt like I was being a follower. I felt like I was playing the back. I felt like I just wasn't being me. I wasn't being authentic. It wasn't real. It didn't feel good. So I would say like, that's what made me start to think of other things like, okay, what do I want to do? And then that's when like the world changes, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like a thing where people need and want their privacy. I feel like that's always been a thing. People just didn't know it would turn into a sweets thing. But even me, like I've always wanted my privacy. If I worked in a shop, I would like try to be in the corner away from people so that me and my clients are talking, and we have that intimacy. So not even just the owner, like me wanting to have my own space, but it's like your client wants that privacy. If they're bald, if they're going through alopecia, anything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't want other people looking at them, seeing their process, you know what I'm saying? So
that's a fact. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So what would you say is one of like the biggest like setbacks that you had, and how did you grow from it?
I would say one of my biggest setbacks was I had two. So one of my biggest setbacks was losing myself, I would say, in Atlanta. So I got to do all of the celebrities, but I lost myself. I wasn't okay with not even just the salary. I wasn't okay with the fact that I wasn't learning, I wasn't growing. Because at that time I was being people's personal hairstylist and it was like, but yeah, I was being people's personal hairstylist, so I wasn't practicing my skills. When you're somebody's personal hairstylist, you're only accustomed to doing their hair. So then it's like when I would do somebody else's hair, I would feel like I just took 1,000 steps back. Like I feel like I was relearning or something, like, because it's like that's a whole different complexion now that I'm working with, you know what I'm saying? So I would say just that. That was a setback. It was a setback, and it was like, you know, when you take like those 1,000 steps forward and then 25 million steps backwards.
Yeah.
No, I would say I had 3 setbacks. So that was one for me. It was one that the world thought was like, oh my God, fire, period. But for me, like internally, it was terrible. Yeah, it just wasn't fulfilled. I would say another setback for me was I had gotten a really huge suite, and I used to be so regretful about it because it had gotten not put away, but I put it away because I was so fanned out and idolizing that I had a big suite, and it's like that's why I feel like God just does everything for a reason. You have to look at everything as a lesson, because before I wasn't looking at it in that way. I was just regretful, like, oh my God, I could have put people in it, because literally a girl came in and moved in my suite after me because it was so big, and she's a makeup artist, and then she put mad little chairs for MUAs to do makeup, and I was just like, wow, like I could have did that, but at that time I was so just for self, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like everything was a learning experience and I had to learn from it, but that was like something I felt like was a setback for me at that time. I was like, oh my God, like my suite, I had to sell it because I wanted to chase what I was chasing at that time. And then another setback for me, and I don't even feel like it's setbacks. I
Not-
feel like
not-
it.
not- yeah, not
I feel like
setbacks,
it's
but
literally
learning
learning
lessons.
experiences,
Learning experiences,
and
yeah.
humbling experiences. You know what I'm saying? So that you never.
setback's not even a word.
Yeah,
that's a
it's
fact.
never setback.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's literally humbling so that you're just you
grow
always
from it.
yeah you can grow from it, and so that you know what it's like, so that you're never on anything cocky. Because yeah, you can know who you are, but you don't have to be a cocky person. So I feel like my last humbling experience was literally just starting back from square one. I feel like a lot of people, once they feel like, oh yeah, I'm at the suites, you know, you feel like the world is watching you. So it's like you don't want to go back home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just was in suites. I'm not going back home. Like, what?
Yeah.
I need to be going to the salon. But it's like, no, sometimes you have to go back to square one. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And that, it
There's
sucks.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it sucks, but it's nothing wrong with it. And it's just like, at that time, you just got to be still and work hard and pray and know that something bigger is coming. Because even when I came back to New York, like, I went back to one of the salons that I worked at when I was like 16, 17. And I was so disappointed in myself. Like, the world didn't know that, because in that space, that's where like I set the trend for now the 2-part sewing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I was back in a place that
That took you back to
yeah,
in
and
the
it just
beginning.
felt like, oh my God, like
Why-
you
why
know,
am I
you
back
feel like
here?
you're better,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, baby,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, what kept you going during those times?
The faith, I'm telling you, it was God, and just knowing nothing is impossible. Like, I never felt like, I don't know, like, I just felt like in those moments, like, I just felt like it was momentary. Like, this is momentary. Like, I will always tell myself, like, this is momentary. If I work hard and do what I'm supposed to do, like, my predicament is going to change. You know what I'm saying? I also was a person that experienced having so much faith in God, and then getting to that moment, which I told y'all, doing all the celebs, and God was nowhere to be found. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't turning to him for nothing. I felt like, I'm the one, I'm that one. That's how I was feeling out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm
Elena
that
would do that
one.
to you.
What are you talking about? Like, y'all
Yeah.
bitches, what? But, and it's like, I'm setting the trends, but I'm not realizing God is putting these thoughts into my brain. Like, it's not me. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Can I tell you one time you hurt my feelings? You hurt my feelings one time. I'll tell you.
What did I do?
You hurt my feelings one time.
No, no,
Nah,
it
but
wasn't me.
But I don't care. It's,
No, I wanna know.
I just say that as a joke, but